Well, hey there, team, and welcome back to Loulan. I guess we didn't end up going home. That's fine. That's all good and well. But we're sort of, I believe we filled up our backpacks, and we're essentially angling to do that. Now, I was thinking as well. Oh, geez, off I go. We need to get a food situation underway at some point. You know, I mean, I suppose we could scavenge infinitely. Actually, now that I think of it, we can't really. Since we're having such loading issues with the game, this nomadic lifestyle will have its ceiling, and that's given by the fact that the world is having a hard time loading in the further we go away. So, what we need to do is get a water catchment going on. So, let's see. Let's use this beer things. Okay, so no, that's wrong. So we're going to want to go that way. And no, that's ticking up, so that way. Basically on that diagonal. Oh. That moment when you're going to sneeze. Goodness me. All right. Off we go. Oh geez, there's the sun. Wait, is the sun visible because we were higher up? Oh, that's actually pretty cool. Right, so we're heading back home now. We're going to unload the our sort of stash. Geez, I don't want to go too low and crash and kill myself. And I want to sort of start working on building a way to transfer our ice water, which we do have, into a canister. Now, funnily enough, that's not something we've really had to do on the moon or anything like that. So it's a relatively new project, at least for us here. Now, as I think about it, I think at the very minimum you will need a 1x2 space too high, one of the blocks going into the depth, essentially. Because water flows, you know, water reacts with gravity and that sort of stuff, and even if we did airlock a door, as soon as you open it, the water would hypothetically flow through. So we need a divot. We need a well, a little dip in the ground, right? Now, I think at its most basic level that we would just, have a one deep floor hole, probably pop a vent in the bottom. It could probably be a passive vent. Would that work? It would just start filling up on its own. I guess you'd have to create suction on the other end. You could probably use a back pressure regulator. Oh, now that is cheeky. So imagine that we have a passive vent. Does a passive vent do inflow? I'm sure it does. If you had two passive vents between two rooms, that will resolve, right? Yeah. Oh, there we go. I think that might be our base. Oh, that's our car. Look how far the car pops in from. That's handy, actually. If anything, to use the car to find our way home. Yeah, so a passive vent on the floor, and in the pipe we have a back pressure regulator set to 0. So as long as there's water on the vent, it'll flow into the vent, it'll create pressure, the back pressure regulator will pump it, because it has a pump built into it, basically. Until it's empty, until it's 0. Yeah, that'll work as a siphon pump. I think I've convinced myself how I want to do this. Yeah. So let's get that going ASAP. Now, as far as sort of building a base, we want to work with what we've got here. This floor, I'm going to dig all of that up when these bloody batteries are done. That's another thing that we actually need to take a bit seriously, is how we're going to do power. Okay. Maybe we do that first, because we do have the dish up there. Yeah, now that I think about it, as much as I'm excited about doing the water caching, we have this battery which we can move as far as I can understand. Probably drill it. Alright. That's full as anything, so we might as well keep charging off of this thing, because we'll move it eventually. Yeah, so let's just do a bit of a rough as guts power maneuver just up here. I'm not that worried about making a super duper power setup, but I've got myself stuck. What's going on here? Okay, that's fine. Alright, it should be pretty straightforward. Run that through. We have a power controller downstairs, but we do have bulk power controllers that we've already looted, right? So we could essentially run those if we needed. But we don't really, now that we've got the battery, actually. I'm just so used to using power controllers as a battery. So we could just... Oh, okay, so it's got the pass-through. Of course, that makes sense. Right, so it probably makes sense to do it like that so you can see it, so you can access it. Yeah, that might be the go, and we'll potentially, I think we might even have a battery charger lying about, so we might rig that in as well. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. What have I done there? I've run this cable down there, that's fine. Okay, cool. Well, we're going to need a bit more cable. I suppose I can try gutting it out of this place. I'm not all that... Oh, wow, look at that. I'm not that worried, actually, about trying to tear this place down, because you don't know where the base is going to end up going as we build it, and it might actually help to have some pre-existing infrastructure to build on the back of. So, do we actually have... We do have an electronics kit there. I just want to make sure we don't have any spare copper. No. Right. But we do have some here to cook, so we'll cook this up. Or did I swap out my cable? Whoops. We'll cook a little bit of copper and turn that into wire, and we'll get this basic power grid set up. There you go, that'll be fine. We'll put this in the electro printer. Cable. Get the ball rolling on this one. That'll do. We'll head up here. Jeez, I'm walking like I'm drunk. We're going to run that into there. So I guess we'll crowbar that up. There's no need for that to run down and connect to that battery anymore because we're going to want to drain it. So wire strippers might be the order of the day here. You know, that shouldn't affect our existing grid. Though we will need to piggyback onto the grid. Get rid of this, it's causing a few problems. Oh no, this. Please don't do that. Okay. This cable here as well? It is too. Probably from the light that we had up here previously. Alright, so this will be the first of many, I suppose, but let's just rig this little fella in to get the ball rolling. Alright. So we'll do that. Oh, did that not stick? Whoops. I must have moved. I believe that was in. Yeah, there you go. Battery input. So that's what really matters there. Right. So now that's rigged in. That's cool. That's generating absolutely nothing. But that's fine. We'll turn... I guess we'll turn that on. We don't need to quite rig it into the network yet, especially since we're trying to drain the last of the battery downstairs. So this gives us a little bit of room to maneuver. And we should probably maybe look at doing like an IC chip. That's cool that you can put the grating on the sort of wall. I might play with that at some point. Right, so let's maybe do a chip layout for this. What are we going to need again? Because it's not like I have the template written down. I just sort of make it. Let's have this cereal bar. I don't believe we've got any of the components that we would need for that. Because it's a bit of an unusual thing to make. The one thing I'd be wondering about is, like, if I've got any sensors or anything like that around. But I don't think we've got anything like that. So that's okay. Where would we build a sensor? Probably the electronics kit, right? Sensor. There we go. Please don't be complicated. Iron, gold, and copper. Yes. Alright, so we need some 3 iron, 1 gold. Perfect. Just get a bit of... gold going. Here we go. Kit sensor. Probably one of the last things you'd install, to be perfectly honest, but it doesn't matter. It seemed that it detects the sun's behavior through the planet. Doesn't seem super constrained by all that.
Temperature low.
Yeah. Where are we going to put this chip set up? Probably just out here on the bloody wall, right? That makes sense. Cool. So I might actually... You know what? I need to unload my backpack, actually. You know what? Can we just install that there just so it's out of my hands? Nice. That's right. We built a new one here, didn't we? Wonderful. What's that? Oh, landing pad and dish. Of course. I guess we could just do this, right? Oh, we got some spare lockers, so that's handy. Shoring up the basketball collection. Oh, kit sensor. Oh my god, I pulled down a sensor and put it in my backpack. Oh well. Hey, these things happen. Computer, that'll come in handy actually. Alright, so at least my backpack's kind of empty now. Alright, so to do the logic, we're going to need a writer, we're going to need a couple of math things. Oh my goodness, I feel rusty already. We went through all this pretty in-depth on the moon. But I'll definitely need a reader and a writer. Hang on. Where are my hard logic pieces? Here we go. Memory, processor, logic transmitter, eh? What if I just write logic? Will that help? Was that what it was? I/O, in, out for the writing? I guess it might be. It makes sense. Need a bit more gold. That's okay. Get that cooked. Let's put this backpack back in there. Cool. Alright. Bang. Let's just build one for the moment. Just to confirm. You know, give it the old eyeball and make sure that it's all good. Reader, writer. Mirror, slot reader. Writer switch. Okay, that's fine. So we'll need another one of them because we will need to read the input and we'll need to write the ultimate output. We'll need a math unit. Can I stack you bad boys? I can. Let's put it in the backpack. Now that I'm thinking about it, we will need a math unit and a memory unit to put 1.8 in. Well, hang on. Why are we doing 1.8? Oh, this is a little bit different because it's moving on 2 axes, isn't it? Well, hang on. We could put one reader from the sensor. It's got one output. This is interesting. Because solar angle. But there are 2 solar angles, if you think about it. Okay. Let's maybe just start placing some things down and see what we can turn up. Well, if we do that, the power's at the top at least. That's good. Okay, cool. Let's just move that thing. So for those that we learnt this from when we did it on the moon, you got to remember the moon doesn't move on one. Well, it actually only moves on one axis. It doesn't move along the other at all. Daylight sensor, motion sensor, gas sensor. The motion sensor is interesting. We could make sliding doors like a supermarket. So what that actually outputs is unclear. What data we can draw from that device. So what we're going to do is at least get it plugged into the network to do a bit of diagnostics on it. We'll go... now we do need... Well, we will be charging that, so we'll just run this tiny little network here. Remember, we're probably going to want to give it its own independent power source as well. Just, it's good practice. Here we go. No, what am I doing? Whoops. Alright, so power goes in, power goes out. What we might actually even do is put a regulator so we can put our own direct battery input into it. Power controller, that's what we want. Yeah. There we go. Alright, so... like, yay. Oh, seems I've run out of cable. Oh, I've got one little piece left. Perfect. Alright. So that should supplement it while it's figuring everything out. Crowbar. Nice. What I will do is grab a battery. Chuck that in. Give it the old juice. There we go. It's drawing. There we go. Right, so we hit the screwdriver. Input. Daylight sensor. Alright, so it just straight up draws it in. But what variable do we want to output? Activate solar angle prefab hash on. So what this is indicating to me, and are you going to tell me what that's going to say? 0. Oh no, I haven't changed it to solar angle. All right, there we go. All right, we can keep doing a little bit of a test here. It seems that it only reads one solar angle, and that might just depend on its alignment. Fortunately, we've got 2 sensors. We're going to need to cook up the rest of that cable. Oh, do I not have any more copper? Probably not, actually, when you think about it. Alright, let's get some copper. Cooking. So what we're going to end up doing... Where'd I put the bloody... sensor? I hope I didn't put it in that friggin' oven or something like that. Didn't I pick it up? Did I put it on the wall? Oh, I did too. Silly me. Alright, so what we're gonna do... Well, this will be a good way to figure out how this daylight sensor is drawing its data. So we're gonna go... like this. And I'm going to just toggle the inputs to get an idea of what's going on. So that's all done there. We're going to close that up, put that in, get some copper, or cable, sorry, going. Cable fuses. Cable analyzer. That's our fuses for our experiment on the other base. So essentially, you can toggle the input of what's going into the sensor. So we're going to do exactly that and just see if this is how the readings work. I mean, it would make sense, but you need to empirically test this sort of thing. We're going to need wire cutters. Look how far I've come. You guys have helped teach me so much. Okay. Right, so if we go screwdriver, and that's doing solar angle 93, and then we're going to change this to the other daylight sensor. Now we're going to change it to solar angle. 148 is what that's reading. So let's have a think about that. 148, okay. And that's reading 94. Okay, cool. So at least we've got established that we've got the 2 different angles working when you've got the sensor at right angles. Wasn't super clear to me at first. 148 and 94 though. Might experiment with this further actually. I can't remember which one's which to be honest, so snip snip. Ah, there we go. We'll change you in. Oh, I guess there's only one in now. Change to solar angle. Solar angle. 95 degrees. Is that so? Oh, okay. No. If you have a look at that, yeah, it is probably just past 95 degrees. Right? But the other one was reading 180 something or other, which, that seems strange. Because if we're going to go at this right angle here, right, would you not think that that's something like 70 degrees or something like that, right? 80 degrees. So this one should be, well, because it's that angle, it's probably not going to really move. Okay, but this one was 180, which I think it's on the wrong axis then. Oh, okay. Interesting. What are we going to do about that? Can I place you in thin air or anything, or do I have to place you on some sort of structure? Oh, everything's in the way. Bugger. Oh, I don't want to have to... Oh yeah, we could just stick it there. Okay, cool. Nice, alright. So now we're just trying it on the other axes. That's running down on the power line. It's not what we need yet. It's not a big deal. Okay, there we go. So we'll change our input. 97-ish, yeah, see, it shouldn't be really moving. It is moving a little, because you can see, look, it's gone to 98. Oh, okay, so that's sending in a round number, and that's more decimal. But you can see it is slowly drifting. Enough that you need to calculate for it. Alright. Solar angle. 14 degrees. That is definitely the wrong axis. Yeah, so we don't want it up there. So what's probably going to happen is we're going to put it back down underneath here, but I think we'll flip it. I think it was actually getting an upside down reading. Having said that, if we turn it 90 degrees, oh my god. See, this is why I'm glad I'm doing this testing now. To get my head around it. Alright, if that's the case, yeah, actually, let's experiment with it that way. Let's see what happens. I could have thought sworn that we tried all different angles like this on the moon. It didn't actually make a difference. I thought that was the verdict, but perhaps I've misremembered. Right. Screwdriver. Solar angle. 53. 52. Alright, look at it dip. So it's definitely tracking on the correct axis. And if you have a look over there, that is definitely a 52-degree arc. So that's just measuring it back to front, right? So we're good. We've got that, and it's just back to front. I suppose, even though this was, what, 96 degrees. Yeah, look, that's definitely 96 that way. So, I would rather not have it back to front like this, because it's a pain. But at the same time, we can still math it out. What I probably will do is place it on the reverse side or turn it around or something like that, just because I would rather have, you know, your 0 point start from the day rising. Whereas that angle, as measured by this one, which it's tending toward 90 degrees, which means it's traveling probably from left to right, right? Because, well, actually, if it was tending towards 90, oh, it's tough to tell. Yeah, that's back to front too, right? If it's tending towards 90, it's slowly traveling that way. right? And if I want to go on the same idea of, you know, essentially having a 0 point at the sunrise, and that's why it's got a larger angle. It was going 98 down to like 94. So it's going smaller, but it's backwards. So essentially I've got both the sensors correct, apart from I personally would prefer to have them on opposite sides of this axis. So this one here we'd flip and probably place on this side. Same goes for this. I'll place that one on the other side, just to get a reading out that's a bit easier to crunch the numbers for the math sort of thing. So, yeah, basically it. Alright guys, well look, that's another episode in the bag. As always, let me know what you reckon. It's probably a good thing that we're getting this out of the way. If you don't follow what I'm doing, or if you actually think that maybe I'm in error or I've made a mistake along the way, by all means ask and or point it out and keep me honest. I do my best not to speak from authority. I'm trying to learn this game as I go. Same as you guys too. Alright team, we might just leave it there for the time being and I'll catch you on the next one.